Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Sultanate expresses its respect for the will of the British people and voting for their country to exit from the European Union. GCC Ministers of Transport and Communications in Riyadh meeting agreed to update work plan and to prepare a timeline to implement railway project in the Council countries. And general spending of the state's public finance during the first quarter of current year decreases by 1.9%. Live from the news center of the Sultanate of Oman television, here we present to you tonight's news bulletin presented by Abdullah Arrubey. The details. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency President Hari Ragao Narimambeya Nena of Madagascar on his country's independence anniversary. And official sources at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs expressed Sultanate's respect for the will of the British people and voting for their country to exit from the European Union in a referendum conducted on the 23rd of this month, as it expresses its trust in Britain's continuation to perform its constructive role in the international arena in a way that serve principles of security, peace and stability and strengthen motives of economic growth and prosperity. The Sultanate at the same time emphasizes the historical friendship relations that bind the two countries and their friendly peoples and bilateral cooperation existing in various fields of mutual concern and joint interest. A general spending of the state's public finance during the first quarter of current year decreased by 1.9% as a result of decline of contributions, support and ongoing expenditures. The Minister of Finance mentioned that the overall expenditures amounted to 2,395,000,000 and half a million Omani Riyals. The ministry also said that ongoing expenditures for defense and national security, civil ministries, interest and loans, oil and gas production expenses decreased during the first quarter of the current year by 4.1% compared to the same period of last year. The Sultanate participated in a meeting of Committee of Ministers of Transport and Communications of the Gulf Cooperation Council countries, which was held in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The ministers agreed to update work plan and to prepare a timeline to implement railway project of the Council countries to be submitted to the leaders in their next meeting. The ministers tasked the Secretariat General to coordinate among members countries to prepare a final study of technical specifications covering operation requirements, policies and legislative rules to implement the railway line. The conferences agreed to supply the Secretariat General with route, truck, junction points with neighboring countries and to make amendment before the end of this year. The ministers tasked the consultant to complete final report of studying establishments of Gulf Authority for Railway Company before the end of coming July. They also entrusted Committee of Seaport and Maritime Management to restudy establishment of a Gulf Company for maritime support. The ministers approved conditions and rules of licensing companies for inspecting and testing ships which are not subjected to international maritime agreements whose payload are less than 500 tons. You're watching the Sultanate of Oman television, and still to come in our news bulletin, an event for introducing Islam to non-Muslims is held in the Governorate of Muscat.
تحفكم عظمة الله.
عمان تحكي قصص من تاريخها.
تمر الحرب ونخسر.
الحرب الحقيقية لم تبدأ بعد.
هجوم!
على تلفزيون سلطنة عمان.
Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. In order to instill the culture of blood donation among all segments of the society, a blood donation campaign was organized in the Wilaya of Sur in the Governorate of South Sharqiya. It was the third campaign launched by the Ministry of Health, repeated by Sur Hospital in cooperation with Oman Hereditary Blood Disorders Association. The campaign attracted different segments of the society, stemming from the fact that blood donation is a human obligation and a noble social work. The campaign prepared all equipment near sports and social activity places to facilitate the process for blood donors. It also distributed many health awareness brochures. The Holy Quran memorization circles in mosques is one of the features of the blessed month of Ramadan in various wilayas of the Sultan, especially in the wilaya of Ibra. Every day, Holy Quran teachers gather with their students in the mosques to teach them rules of Quran recitation and memorization. They try their best to instill on the young generation the current reading of the Quran, or the correct reading of the Quran. These centers are supervised by the Ministry of Endowments and Religious Affairs that facilitate their works. With a wide participation from elderly people, Omani Association for Friends of Elderly and the Governorate of Dakhliya organized an iftar gathering in the wilaya of Nizwa. The event aimed to serve elderly people and bring happiness and joy to them. The gathering also included various cultural and entertainment activities. The Ministry of Endowments and Religious Affairs, represented by Islam Orientation and Cultural Exchange Department, organized an event for introducing Islam in the Governorate of Muscat. It targeted a number of non-Muslims to deliver the true message of Islam. It included a number of lectures and speeches about the Islamic culture, refusing all negative acts attributed to Islam. During the event, the participants had a group iftar meal. Then there was a meeting with the new Muslims who talked about how their life changed after Islam. The event was accompanied by an exhibition for items that introduced Islam to non-Muslims. The participants praised the event and stressed on its importance as it contributed in delivering the true message of Islam. And now here are the Ramadan times for tomorrow. Fajr prayers at 3:55 a.m., Maghrib prayer at 7:02 p.m. And now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Partly cloudy skies will prevail over the coastal areas of the Governorate of Dhofar, Al-Wusta and South Sharqiya, with chances of various intensity rains. Rest of the Sultanate will have clear skies with chances of high clouds on some areas. Winds will be southeasterly to easterly light to moderate over the most of the governorates, while it will be light on the coast of Sea of Oman. Seas will be rough along the coast of the Arabian Sea, with a maximum wave height of 4 meters, and slight along the rest of the coast with a maximum wave height of 1.5 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Sultanate expresses its respect for the will of the British people and voting for their country to exit from the European Union. GCC Ministers of Transport and Communications in Riyadh meeting agreed to update work plan and to prepare the timeline to implement railway project in the Council countries. And general spending of the state's public finance during the first quarter of current year decreases by 1.9%. And with that, we conclude this news bulletin. From the entire news team here, live from the News Center of the Sultanate of Oman television, we thank you for joining us, wish you a pleasant evening and good night.